Time for a challenge.
Good morning. It is July 6th and it is time for the challenge from Skye Winter Books. So, yeah, I am excited. I have here her email with a, a schedule to keep today. So it started with waking up at 5 a.m., which I've done. And let me show you the rest. So it starts off with, hello, my precious. Oh, thank you. So I need to write 3 flash fiction stories and 1 short story in a day. So, gonna be fun. Wake up at 5 a.m., drink water, coffee, tea. So I will be drinking some water because it's a little hot. 5:15, actually wake up and walk 2 miles. I do have a treadmill, so I'll be doing it there so I can keep track because it's still kind of dark outside. 6:30, grab breakfast. 7 to 8, write flash fiction 1. 8 o'clock, break. 10, write flash fiction 2. 11, lunch. At noon, write flash fiction story 3. At 1, do a break. At 3, write short story. And then end at 5:30. So, fun times, fun times. This is probably gonna have some interesting angles because I forgot both my tripods in California. So, hurrah! But yeah, let me go drink some water.
It's time for the treadmill.
Water. All that was left in the fridge. Unfortunately, I have to remove my countertop dishwasher from my treadmill. I guess I better do that. Alright. There's my view. Time to get going. Easing into it. Oh yeah, 2 miles. 31 minutes, 4 seconds. Oops. Alright, I did 2 miles and 5 hundredths. So, time for more water. Cheers. So, since I still have 35 minutes until breakfast, and I'm behind on my exercise goal, I'm gonna go for at least another mile. So, here we go. So I'm going for a full 5K, which means 3.1 miles. I've got 0.02 left. $48.26. A slight cool down, I suppose. Nope, 49.52. I can count. 50 minutes and 3.15. Whoa. Alright, I got about 17 minutes until breakfast time, so I'm gonna take a quick shower. Well, I'm a little late, but I basically have no groceries, so
We're going out for breakfast.
Walking to Tim Hortons. Yes, I ate there last night. And I got off the airplane. But it's close. Well, it was 7 o'clock when I sat down, but then I had to adjust it to Eastern time instead of Pacific time. Welcome to my computer. And second breakfast. So I had my sausage English muffin and hash brown there, and I have these to tide me over. Alright, so I have an hour to write Flash Fiction 1, and the prompt is a mechanical fan that transforms into a monster every night, but no one believes poor little Nettie when he tells them that the fan is out to get him. I don't know what inspired this prompt, Dee, but challenge accepted. I got distracted with Pokemon Go. But I still got 20 minutes left, so gotta finish this up. I'm currently at 362 words, and it is the final showdown between Nettie and the fan monster. This story took a turn I was not expecting. So it's 692, including the prompt words. This story, it's now 8:02. So I will read you what I wrote. Flash Fiction number 1. Prompt: a mechanical fan that transforms into a monster every night, but no one believes poor little Nettie when he tells them that the fan is out to get him. Creak. Nettie eyed the fan above him, its slowly turning blades making ominous noises, like they did every night for the past week. The creaking was the sound before the true terror. The first time the fan transformed into a monster, Nettie had screamed for his parents. Dad ran in with a baseball bat while Mom scooped him up in a hug, but the fan had returned to normal, and they didn't believe him. "Mom," Nettie called, watching the fan creak. "Can I sleep with you guys tonight?" His mom's voice came from down the hall. "It's just your fan, Ned. You'll be fine." A shiver went up his spine as a groan sounded from the slowly twirling blades in the mostly dark room. "But, for heaven's sakes, it's not out to get you. You'll be fine." The sound of his mother shutting her door echoed down the hall. Nettie pulled the covers up over his head. It was going to be okay. Maybe the last 6 nights had been hallucinations? He felt for the screwdriver in his pocket, his only weapon. Creak. Nope. Ned threw the blankets off and scurried under the bed. At least if the fan descended again, it'd have a hard time fitting under here. His blood chilled as metal shifted above him, clanking and moaning, clanging and groaning. Nettie. Little Ned huddled into a smaller ball, dead center of the underside of the bed. It couldn't reach. It couldn't reach. It couldn't. A thin cord of wires slithered up his ankle under his pajama pants. The sharp broken ends of the frayed wires scratched his skin as they wound all the way up to his knee before pulling, dragging him out from under the bed. Ah! He hung upside down by a leg in midair above his bed, gazing at the monstrosity. The blades had grown teeth, sharp teeth that would be his doom if he didn't defeat this thing once and for all. The light bulbs in the center of the fan glowed slightly, eyes watching his every move, probably calculating what to do to make him the most scared. Trying to breathe between screams, Nettie reached into his pocket. Empty. Desperately, he looked around. There, on the floor, useless, was a screwdriver that had fallen out of his pocket. Ominous creaks from the fan monster hanging low from the ceiling sounded creepily like a chuckle. Ned was going to die. Painfully. The fan blades with teeth tilted towards him, the wires dragging him towards the spinning mouth. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Neddy kicked out with all his might, foot going straight through the glowing glass eye bulb. The wires twisted, throwing him across the room as glass shards showered down onto Ned's dinosaur quilt. Metal ground together, a horrible shrieking noise echoing in the room. "Leave me alone," yelled Ned. "I'll kick you again." His shoulder hurt from hitting the wood floor so hard, but it was his foot that caught his eye. It was bleeding, a shard of glass sticking out of it. Before Ned could gain the courage to pull it out, his foot itched and twitched, transforming. With a shudder and a scream, he watched as his foot, then leg, became metal, twisting together and elongating into wire. His arms stretched. Not arms, fan blades. He was turning into a fan! With a final yell, he toppled over, a perfect replica of the fan that tried to eat him. "What's all the screaming for?" yelled his dad as his parents finally entered the room. Neddy tried to call out to them, ask them for help, but all he could do was stare at his parents as they hugged each other. It was about time he finally transformed. It took long enough. It didn't take Kyle that long to become a fridge, said his dad. "Yes, but we'll have to replace the bulb in Kevin. At least now we finally have 2 fans." So now from 8 to 10, I have a break. Do whatever you want and hopefully grab a snack and water. Well, I have some water. And I've already been snacking on Timbits. I've eaten about half of them. So I've got 2 hours, so maybe I'll nap? I don't know. So I have a flash fiction prompt 2 at 10 and then lunch at 11. So what do I do for 2 hours? I'm awake again. I took a nap. It was glorious. And a package arrived with An Education in Malice by S.D. Gibson. So I shall be joyfully having that book now. Yeah, I'll read it later. But it's now 10:05 and I need to write the second flash, which is there's a new girl in town named Penelope who on the surface seems overly nice, but Timothy sees through her facade as her family is moving into the old haunted house in the neighborhood. And this is only a flash. Okie dokie. I just had an idea. It might be cliche, but that's okay. Alright, I finished it out at 562 words, so here's how it went. Flash fiction number 2. Rumors fly across the town. A new family is moving into the haunted house on Oakthorn Street. The Rousseaus, they say. A grieving family who just lost their daughter. Hopefully, they don't learn about me and my abilities. I don't want to conduct a seance again, especially in that house. Even at 16, I'm ready to retire. My left arm aches under my long hoodie sleeve, the raised scar pulsing with its curse. A final testament to the last demon that came through a botched summoning I was called on to contain and dispel. Stupid kids. I have no idea how they found an actual summoning text from the local library. Suffice it to say, they'll have a fine to pay since I burnt the text. I skulk around behind a tall tree, its rough bark grounding as I try and refocus my mind. I hate being around this haunted house, but I want to see who's desperate enough to move in. And that's when I see them. An older couple and a girl about 18. The parents, I assume, are all hunched shoulders, downturned eyes, and lethargy, as if their world has lost meaning. The girl, however, is reserved smiles, trying to help the couple into the house. She is wearing a dress of buttery sunshine, as if color theory could keep depression at bay, and braids with ribbons of satin cream. "Penelope," calls the older woman from within the decrepit house. My heart flutters as Penelope turns, skirts of the dress twirling enough to reveal her knees and the underskirts that give the dress poof. She's too good for that house. It'll eat her alive. I turn away, back to the tree, and close my eyes. Reaching out with my senses, I feel for what's in the house, what's lurking in the deepest shadows. Ghosts and a revenant. Shit. "Excuse me?" asks a voice right next to me. I jump slightly, then look into the most beautiful pair of hazel eyes I've ever seen. "Sorry, I saw you lurking here and came over to introduce myself. I'm Penelope." She extends her hand politely, waiting for me to take it. A chill runs up my spine as I do. She's not a normal human. A vision of change superimposes over my view of her, trapping a soul inside her body. A younger girl my age. Her eyes widen as I perceive her. "Oh, Penelope," I say. "You gave up your soul in exchange for your sister's, didn't you? Let her have your body instead of wandering lost." Penelope gasps, yanking her hand back. She made me promise to look after our parents, make them smile again, and then live for myself. Her face falls, tears in the corners of her eyes. She didn't want to go on without me. She never thought to ask if I could go on without her. With a turn, she heads back into the house. My heart aches, and for the first time in my psychic life, I don't know what to do. Penelope will have to be monitored for influence from the Revenant, and possibly dispatched to be put to rest once and for all. But for now, I'll let her attend to her grieving family. A family that's dredged up painful memories of my own parents and siblings I lost amongst those rooms. That house is cursed. Well, Dee, I hope you liked it. It is now 10:53, so 7 minutes until lunch. Yeah, so lunch break. I don't know what I'm gonna eat. I don't know what's in the house. Because I've been gone for 2 months, and 2 months before that. So, yeah. Maybe I'll just finish off the Timbits. We'll see.
So I am backstage, well, on screen for Morgan's live stream, and it is 11:15, so I have 45 minutes now until I have to write the next flash. So time to eat some Timbits and maybe take a really quick nap. I don't know. Alright, I am journaling for today during my lunch break. I got half an hour left. Alright, it's 6 minutes till lunch is officially over, and I pulled up what the next prompt is. So it's been 300 years since you returned into an immortal being, and since you have never been sick, but today you woke up with what seems to be the flu, and the only person who can tell you how to fix it is your ex, who turned you all those years ago.
So, I am listening to S.T. Gibson's Spotify playlist for An Education in Malice, and on it is the song called The Secret History by the Chamber Orchestra of London. It is gorgeous, and I think it's going to fit the vibe perfectly, so I'll have that on loop. She has her playlist public, so yay! Alright, I'm 3 paragraphs and a sentence in. I'm not quite sure what to do next, like why she's sick. I have a little bit of a flashback, and the sickness is happening, and we've established where she is, but yeah, I need to figure out why she's sick and why it's the ex that she needs to go to. So, yeah. Alright, it's complete at 770 words. Okay. This song made it much more melancholy. But I like it. I wanted to try and write in past tense because I haven't written in past tense in a while. And it was really hard. I kept switching to first person present tense instead of first person past tense. So yeah, this may need a lot of editing, but I did some edits and it is now 1 o'clock, so time's up, time to read. Flash fiction number 3. My darling Alessandra, be mine forever. The words echoed in my mind as I awoke, remnants of a bygone era, the time of blood and Nicodemus. His fangs in my throat turning me at the age of 22. My heart ached as memories of our heated nights and passionate trysts filled my mind. I'd never been so in love, or so naive. I rolled over in my coffin, soft plush satin cocooning me. I was safe in here. He couldn't find me. An ache in my stomach brought me back to the here and now. It wasn't an ache of hunger, that's usually accompanied by itching teeth, but more of a long-forgotten sickness. Bile rose in the back of my throat, the bitter taste threatening to spill over my tongue. In an instant, I'd opened the coffin and was leaning over the side, heaving my guts. The last of the blood I consumed expelled in splashes of color on the dirt floor, the only vibrancy in my hiding place. An abandoned sawmill on the outskirts of a tiny town beyond fair Vienna. Alessandra. My back stiffened as my name floated on the breeze. Familiar and yet not. Malicious intent oozed from every syllable. I curse you. Enzo! My mind cleared as I placed his voice. The man who wanted to take Nicodemus from me centuries ago. Was never successful as far as I'd heard, even after I ran. Left my wardrobes of finery and fled. Gave myself space to discover who I was without his influence. Pay my penance. But now... Blood trickled down my chin as I heaved one more time. I needed help, but the only vampire I knew who was knowledgeable in curses was Nicodemus. And I broke his heart when I fled. Did I dare go back to him? What if the flame rekindled and I didn't want to leave again? Would that be so bad? What have you accomplished on your own? Found a quiet life, yes, but you still prey upon mortals. You know now there is no changing that. Would it be so wrong to re-embrace your eternal nature? To allow yourself comfort and lust? Have you not punished yourself enough already? A shivering took a hold of my physical body as well as my spiritual. Did I not suffer enough already for the bloodshed I'd ravaged once I'd realized I'd been turned for forever and could not be killed? Damned to prey upon children if I were weakened and they were near. Spasms of agony twisted my insides, and nothing more to regurgitate. I curled into the fetal position, knees to bloody chin, rocking back and forth to try and ease excruciating torment. Nicodemus. He'd held me as I wept before, but I hadn't deserved his kindness. The kisses to my tears, caresses to my waning cheeks. Nicodemus, I need you. A shard of moonlight fell upon the ring on my finger, the only thing I kept from my time with him. Perhaps. Raising it to my mouth, I kissed the jewel with bloody lips. Come to me, I called. Nicodemus, I need you. Darkness took a hold of my vision, narrowing it to pinpricks. Maybe I should embrace the darkness, the end of it all, the ultimate penance. Strong arms lifted me from my coffin, the scent of bergamot and cardamom a balm to me. Nicodemus, I tried to say his name, but it was more a ragged gasp. I've got you, my love. The sharp outline of his profile was the last thing I saw as darkness consumed me. I floated adrift in a sea of pain and black fire. Even with my vampiric vision, I could see nothing. The faint chants that reached my ear periodically eased the flames for a moment, but they would return with a vengeance. Perhaps this is my eternal reward? Justice? I suppose my own soul does not deserve peace. Lies, dear Alessandra, follow my voice. Nicodemus. Using all the strength I thought had been burned from me, I turned towards the sound of his voice, stepped through the burning fire, and into a cool embrace. My eyes opened, finding Nicodemus's beautiful brown eyes staring deep into mine. His face was wet with tears. Not aged physically, but the depths of his eyes were more tormented. Had I done that to him? My love, his fingers swept through my hair as he cradled me to his chest with his other arm. My darling, you've suffered enough, more than enough. Come back to me. Warmth, unlike the fire, gentler, seeps into my soul. I'm home. So I definitely need to rework the beginning, because at first I had her running from him specifically, like he had done something, and not like, well, he did, he turned her, which made her go after children when she was in a moment of weakness. But I think I need to tweak some of the phrasing. But yeah, first draft, not too bad. And now I get a break. He was nice to me. I get a break from 1 until 3, in which I will have to start writing a short story until 5:30, and then that's the end of the challenge. So, she says, break, do whatever you want, hopefully grab a snack and water. I will definitely grab some water. And who knows, I might nap again, I might rejoin Morgan's stream. I don't know. We shall see. Alright, I'm gonna tempt fate by starting to read An Education in Malice while I'm in bed. I have an hour and a half until I have to write the short story. Giant's been going for a while. But anyway, I finished chapter 1 and I really like it. It is definitely a dark academia, and we have met Carmilla, and there's some tension there with the chemistry. And yeah, on to chapter 2. Let's see, it is now, come on, 1:51, so I have an hour and 9 minutes. Chapter 3. I'm loving it. Wait. I just finished chapter 3. I did not see that coming. I thought Carmilla was. I don't know. I need to keep reading. Dang it, but the sprint's almost over and I gotta go back to the computer. Twist. Yes. So I thought this was a Carmilla retelling. So, yes. Alright, I'm back from being on screen on Morgan's stream. Probably have time for about one more chapter. I have 25-ish minutes left. Maybe 2 more chapters. We'll see. And, yeah, then it's time to write the short story. Alright, I'm now on chapter 7. It's 3:06, but I had to finish the chapter. So now it's time to write a short story. Gonna light a candle. French Riviera! So excited. It's purple. And now it's lit.
Alright, let's get this party started. Short story number 4 prompt from D is: the 3 biggest consumers joined forces and formed a collective and brainwashed the world into believing their dystopian society is a perfect world. Big posters are all over towns with the big town slogan. The weekly pills are administered to keep the public submissive. They live in smart houses and use smart devices that record everything that is monitored by the collective. They know what you're thinking. They know if you've been bad or good. But after a collective employee's daughter dies at the hands of the collective, she decides that she's not willing to take the substances because she no longer thinks how she's living is fine. And she comes up with a way to initiate a rebellion or a revolution. Well, golly gee willikers. I have until 5:30, so I have 2 hours and 18 minutes to write this story. So, yeah. We'll see how it goes. I'm just sitting here distracted by texts and Discord, and it's like, I need to focus. I need to write. But it's also switching gears from a dark academia to a sci-fi, and it's like, my brain is living in an education of malice right now. So, I gotta switch gears real hard. Okay, I'm at 993 words so far, and not quite sure what to do. So, I have an hour left to work on this short story, and yeah. She's met this doctor dude, and he helped stitch her up, and now I'm trying to figure out how they're going to form a rebellion when he's unwilling and what's their plan. So, yeah. I made popcorn. Trying to break my writer block. Alright, 4 minutes left. And I wrapped it up real quick. Oh my gosh. It's kind of a cop-out, but whatever. It's a first draft. So, here we go. I'll read it for you. Short story number 4. Neon lights stain my world, refracted through the raindrops and scattered blooms of color. Dark concrete towers pierce the sky like the redwoods of old. Only managers, who are way up the chain in the collective, are allowed on the highest floors above us all, where living plants can grow in clear air. The collective's man-made dominions spread out for miles, smog mixing with clouds, hiding the natural stars from the rest of us. I skirt around the edge of an alleyway, away from the patrol of collective drones. Their sensors can stand for the concentration of our weekly vitamin boosters in our blood from a distance, and I'm below the legal threshold now. Laughter catches my attention around the corner. A group of drunk teenagers stagger out of a bar. One of the liberation laws passed was to abolish the drinking age, and the people loved it. "Let's go to the Scarlet Silk," said a kid with artificially smooth skin. "I hear they got a new dancer, and she likes it when she gets touched. No extra charge." "No shit," comments an even younger teen. "Must be a special promotion since she's fresh meat." A shiver races up my spine as they wander off. Another liberation law. No age of consent. Now that the built-up weekly doses of vitamins is exiting my system, my independent logic is strengthening, moral shifting and hardening. My repulsion at the utopia grows. The pieces of concrete rubble are heavy in my pocket as I slink past 24/7 bars and clubs. I can't do much to protect how this world works, but I'll do what I can. I've learned where all the imports are made of food, clean water, and other supplies are docked. Where the higher-ups in the corporation live. It's taken over a month, but it'll be worth it. Beep, beep.
I leap out of my skin as I turn around, face to face with a new model of a small flying drone, scanner flashing red. Shit. Report to Dr. Stanfield immediately, please. You are in need of medical treatment. Follow me, it says in a friendly, cheerful tone. I've made you an appointment. Treatment will be free of charge. Frozen in place, my options race through my mind. Hit it with rubble, run and get stunned, or follow it and hope I'll read my journal and stop taking the injections again later on. Memories fled me. Sarah's little hand wrapped around my finger, her mop of dark hair sticking up in all directions. The letter of thanks from the corporation when they took her from me 2 months ago. She was needed for an organ transplant. The rubble is flying from my hand before my brain catches up with my emotions. The drone fizzles and drops from the air like a stone it was just hit with. Stunned at my success, I watch as a new light begins flashing on its crumpled spherical body. It's probably calling for help. I take off, running down the labyrinth of narrow roads whose shadows are pierced by neon advertisements. I just need to get away, to find a place to hide and maybe convince someone else to help me on my mission. Sirens sound in the distance, but that happens often. They might be coming for me, or might not. I can't take a chance and sprint harder. Dumpsters smelling of rot and alcohol take up half of the space in the alleys, making me have to dodge. A rat streaks out and my foot slips on the wet concrete, sliding out from under me. My teeth rattle as I slam into the edge of an overflowing metal dumpster, head splitting open on the edge. Hot red pours into my vision. I've got to get under cover. Maybe get it regenerated? No, they'll see the saturation levels in my blood. Rolling to my side, I gulp back the bile threatening to spill from my mouth. Vision hazy, I spot him, a man in a trench coat sneaking out of a hidden door. Help, I croak. He doesn't approach right away. Instead, he scans me. I can't contain my distress any longer and retch all over the floor. I've been caught. Found out. I've got you, he says in a smooth tenor. I tense as he lifts me, carrying me through the hidden doorway and into a building I've never been in before. The smell of cigarettes, cigars, and more permeate the air, bringing my nausea to a head, but he pricks me with something on my arm, and the feeling fades. Hold still, he says, reaching into a bag I hadn't noticed. A sewing needle glints in the dim, warm lighting. Old-fashioned, but it works. The pain of the needle sliding through my skin is not as bad as the headache itself, but still uncomfortable with the tugging of thread. We sit in silence as he works. Who are you? I ask once he's tied off the stitches. No one important. You? No one important, I respond in kind. Well, there we go then. He turns round, sterilizing the needle and putting the supplies back in the bag. The idea hits me, and a small flicker of hope ignites. You're not on the injections? Are you? He asks. Raucous laughter explodes on the other side of the wall amongst a wave of groans. We must be in a gambling den. Join me. Help me change the world, I plead. I'll go on missions, and you can patch me up. The mysterious old-fashioned doctor snorts. It'll take more than 2 lowly people to change this mess, let alone survive it. We're talking about the collective. Everyone out there is a part of it. Glutton it. But not you, I press. What made the difference for you? None of your business. He zips his bag shut with a finality that makes my flame of hope flicker. I get up in his face. You had a reason. You know this world has gone to hell in a handbasket. We can do something. I have intel. We can smuggle supplies and target the higher-ups. I will avenge my daughter, with or without you. A smile tugs at his lips. Nothing is as motivating as a mother's love. I'm not saying I'll help you for the long run, but I could use some fresh water. It was a small start, but it made a difference to us, to those who came in contact with us. More were freed from the effects of the weekly injections, mind clearing. Our group slowly grew, but eventually it was nicknamed the Sarah Strikers, and we changed the world.
And it is now 5:35. The schedule that Dee set out for me is done. So there you go. Getting up at 5 in the morning, exercising, writing 3 flashes and a short story in a day. All done. Hurrah. Success. And then tonight is the romance prompted stream, so I will still be doing that. And I read 6 chapters of a book, so fun times. I need to find a co-host for my stream since Barrett is not able to join me tonight. So yeah, I'll be doing that and figuring stuff out. Alright, it's about 9:30 at night and I am tired, so I'm gonna go to sleep and wrap up this vlog. But I am on page 149 of An Education in Malice, chapter 15. So getting close to the halfway mark, getting close. And it arrived today in the mail, so that's nice. Yeah, good stuff. So tomorrow, I'm not sure. Usually I was thinking of like just reading on Sundays for this July writing extravaganza. So we'll see what happens. I know I need to do beta reading tomorrow for Mars, so I will be doing that for sure. And yeah, call it a night. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Skye Winter Books, for my challenge. I believe it was a success. So thank you, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye!